Hey there, I'm Alanis here in Tucson talking to Empire here with.
Keith Leighton of Empire Empire.
Yeah, so you guys are on your first tour, and how many years has it been?
I think nine.
9 years?
9 years, yeah.
Yeah, so quite a while. How's it feel to finally be back out on the road?
It feels good. I have two active projects, that, and we do play a bunch of shows and tours. So, it's not like completely fish out of water situation where I haven't been doing it for a long time. But obviously, the reception is a lot better with with this band because it's been it's been a minute.
Yeah.
So.
So you a long time said you would only reunite if the Lions won the Super Bowl. What inside info do you have about this upcoming season? What good feelings do you
I
have?
feel very good about it. Yes, I actually think it was crushingly devastating. They lost in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. They're up a lot at halftime. I had a bunch of my friends like texting me, and people were starting to look up plane tickets and stuff to go to the Super Bowl, and then they lost.
Yeah.
So that was rough. And then last year they were 15-2, decimated by injuries by the end. I feel good about this year though. I feel very
Yeah,
good.
you got a little inside info, and if they do
Yeah.
win it all, you can take all the credit.
I'll take all the credit.
Yeah. And then another one of the goals you guys set out, because you guys announced your first show back was Best Friends Fest.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also said it was your goal to have Empire play in all 50 states.
Right, yes.
So you got upcoming shows in Alaska and Hawaii?
We finished. We did Hawaii.
Okay.
So my family was actually on a vacation there. Um, my extended family, so there was like 17 of us that went, and Cathy and I went too. And yeah, we played an acoustic show in Hawaii. Got to mark that off the list because I don't imagine that I'll get out there that often. So now Alaska is the only one left.
Yeah. But like a lot of bands, when you see them announce like a Hawaii show, it's like they're announcing a foreign country. They're like,
Yeah.
like I know Tool did one recently, the Pixies. It's like the Pixies' first time in Hawaii. And it's like, I mean, it is far out there and hard to get to.
Yeah.
Um, so now that it's been 9 years and Empire and like the legacy of it's kind of had some time to settle, what's it like reflecting on the time you had in the band?
Um, yeah, that's a good question because I'm not sure I've done a lot of reflecting, I guess, until this tour, because keeping active with the label and keeping active with other bands, you just kind of keep moving forward. But this is kind of like a forced, reflection. Um, but I mean, it feels good. When we ended Empire, it was, it felt like time, right? So I don't feel like um, that we had, like if we had gone another year or something had happened, things would have changed. So when we put it to bed, um, it was okay, right? So like coming back to it, it wasn't like a tumultuous ending. It wasn't like there was no like arguments or anything. It just felt like time. So coming back to it, I think is easier because there's you know no negative energy to come about it. But like I guess reflecting, it's I guess seeing all the people that are coming out that have told us that like they never got a chance to see us, especially like they became fans of ours, either at the tail end or in the 9 years that we were in a band.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really humbling that people still care or have cared since then. So, I mean, I guess you do something to define it, but negatively, but you don't really decide your legacy. I think other people do. And so it feels really good that other people have cared about what we've done.
Yeah, like you see like a younger generation being more interested in that type of emo. Did you ever feel that you would eventually be forgotten?
You got the heavy hitting questions here. you know, pun aside, I had no idea what to expect. We also had no idea what to expect this tour. Because we hadn't done it for such a long time.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if anybody would be at our shows or there'd be a lot of people at our shows. So it's been an interesting experience, like going into it like that.
Yeah, and then speaking of your record label, one of the staples of Count Your Lucky Stars was these four-way splits that you released, and that's like one of the earlier ones that you guys put out, right?
Yeah, this is the first one.
What's it like putting like a lot of the bands that you've picked out for Count Your Lucky Stars or that you've worked with over the years were like more smaller bands that maybe wouldn't have gotten the shot to shine had it not been for you. What's it like having some of these bands years down the line also develop like a rich legacy that all started, with you giving them a chance?
I mean, it feels great because it's nice to see that one.
Yeah,
Those are the four cornerstones of the beginning of the label, so it was nice to collect them. But it feels great. I mean, when we started the label, there was, we'd had a difficult time finding somebody to put our records out. So we just figured we would start doing it. And then when we started touring a lot, we met a lot of people in the same situation, and it just was a natural pairing to start working with other people. And then, I mean, giving them a platform feels good, and it was amazing to see what bands went on to do with it. And I also love other people coming back and discovering some albums they might have missed through our label. So I think I think at a certain point, Empire and Count Your Lucky Stars was so intertwined,
yeah.
right, that it was just hard to like separate the two. So yeah, but it was a natural process for us, and we met so many people, so many good bands this way, and yeah, help build that community.
Yeah, and like some of the bands you help platform really have like developed a legacy of their own. Like Merchant Ships, Snowing are the two big ones that come to mind.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Snowing's headlining festivals this year,
yeah,
and then now Merchant Ships has so much buzz about them
yeah,
now.
absolutely.
And it's like, all this came from a very localized area of the Midwest. What about the Midwest do you think gives it its own like sense on and take of emo? Because everyone talks about the sound of Midwest emo,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
I link Empire very closely with that sound, but in a very progressive sort of way, kind of like Algernon Calwater at the same time. Um, what do you think helps give the Midwest that identity?
Um, I think, at least for me, um, there isn't as much to do,
Yeah,
so I think like starting a band is something you can do, and I also like it's very common like to drive a couple hours for a show. It's very common to um, just drive around to do nothing,
yeah,
stuff like that. So I mean, I think that for us, like getting into that music, we would just drive around for hours and listen to music and the scenery and just kind of exist in that. And then I think that openness kind of lends itself to, exploring, and that kind of leads to um, just do picking up instruments and trying it out yourself.
yeah,
So
yeah. Really taking the DIY and element there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that all happened like naturally too. It wasn't. It's one of those things where like you just start playing shows with your friends, right? And then you start touring and you become friends with more people. So then when they come to your town, you get them a show. You have a place for them to stay, and then when you go to their town, same thing, and it just kind of ties things together. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of talked about the past, what does it take to move forward, and what's the future of the band looking like?
This, this is probably it. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, unless the Lions win the Super Bowl, I'm not. I'm not looking to do more. I won't say no. I'll never say no at this point because here we are. Right? I didn't expect to be playing this, but when we got asked to play Best Friends Forever, it was just too great of opportunity. And actually, the whole reason that this tour exists is one of my favorite bands is Knapsack, and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the show in San Diego.
right. So they asked us to play open for them in San Diego, and we I didn't even think it was going to be a possibility because original plan was to do one show to warm up, in Detroit area, and then do the festival. But then they asked us to play, and I didn't even actually, because I didn't think it was possible, didn't even ask the rest of the band for a little bit. But then, floated the idea, and just surprisingly, they were all like, yeah, let's do it. But the problem was, that's tomorrow, which is about a week before Best Friends Forever Fest, and it's in San Diego.
Yeah.
And, obviously, Best Friends Forever Fest is in Las Vegas. So it wasn't really practical to say, fly to San Diego, fly back home, fly to Las Vegas, or like fly to San Diego and bum around for a week, whatever. So honestly, this whole tour exists to justify playing this show with
Yeah.
Knapsack and then getting to BFF and having our own gear and equipment and stuff. So that's why this
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, I mean, I tried getting tickets to that Knapsack show, and it sold out like
Yeah,
instantly.
that's a lot like crazy. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to see Knapsack. I just saw Sam I Am
Oh
recently.
yeah, yeah. That's honestly that band is probably the reason that I'm into this music.
Oh really?
Well, so I saw a show. Do you know Fuel, like the
Oh yeah,
radio
yeah,
rock band?
yeah,
Yeah, with Shimmer, which is still a good song.
yeah.
We went to go. Me and my brother and my wife, who is also an Empire, and my brother's now wife. This was in high school, and my best friend, who was actually the original bassist for Empire. Anyway, we went and saw the show, and Sam Am opened up for them. So it was
Yeah.
like a weird, and I found out later that it was like a radio show that they just combined bands, or whatever. Anyway, bought the CD because we really liked Sam Am, and then the liner notes had Knapsack and all those other bands, and that was my breadcrumb to Mineral and Get Up Kids and Sunny Day, all those bands, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason of why I'm here today, even. So.
I mean, Minerals playing Best Friends Forever, their
Yep.
final show.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, the Sam I Am show, I saw them at an after show at Riot Fest where they opened for Texas Is the Reason.
Oh man, I love Texas.
You know what I mean? So like we're kind of in a golden age renaissance for all different levels of emo.
Well,
you know?
yeah, and it's weird because like again, I was pretty firm on not playing with Empire unless the line said one, but this show was too good. So I mean that adage that like no band ever stays dead. I mean that's
Right.
obviously pretty accurate. I mean look at even Nirvana where the lead singer died, right? And
Yeah.
they still ended up doing stuff. So at this point I won't. I remember so when we broke up and I was like, oh, we're never playing a show again. And the Jazz June was like, hey, you might want to, you won't be sure about that. And I was like, no, I'm sure about that. And then I was wrong. They were right.
Yeah. Also, Jazz June, another amazing band.
Yeah, another amazing band.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap things up, what is the Empire song you're most proud of?
I think Water, which is out on Home After 3 Months Away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that. Actually, that whole EP, as far as favorite bodies of work, those 4 songs. That's like my favorite thing that we did. It just like we did a Japanese tour, and this would have been I think either 2010 or 2012 or something like that. I'm somewhere in that time period. I think maybe 2012. Anyway, and we decided kind of last minute, us and the record label, that we put a bunch of stuff on Japan called Stiff Slack, that we would do like a Japanese tour exclusive. And so to get everything done, we had to write, record, mix and master, get art done in a very, very short amount of time, right? So there was no time to overthink it, and it just came out to me just like so natural, and I like the sentiment of that song, and it just reminds me of Cathy and I's like earlier parts in the relationship, and that one. And then there's one other I'm going to cheat. I'm going to tell you too.
Sure.
There's another one that is marooned. It was originally marooned on a South by South sampler, like promo, and it had.
Okay.
So there's a record label called Gotta Groove that we'd work with, and Top Shelf would work with me at a co showcase, and they said, "Oh, we're doing we can have a promotional for Gotta Groove and also for Count Your Lucky Stars and Top Shelf, and like give these out." And they're like, just give a song and we'll just put it out as a promotional. But I'm a sucker for rare tracks. I love rare tracks.
Me too.
I love sprinkling them everywhere. And I was like, whoa, this is an opportunity to do something new. And so we wrote a song called What Had Taken Years, blah, blah, blah. There's other parts to it. What Had Taken Years to Put Together Was Destroyed in One Moment, I think is the title of it. And that's just kind of encapsulates everything that Empire was. And we wrote that one really quickly as well. And now it exists on middle discography, but otherwise there was no way for you to hear it. So
Yeah, and it's funny to hear you say that those 2 songs you had to whip up really fast came from that, because both on the liner notes of What It Takes to Move Forward and You Will Be Forgotten, it both say like this took years to put together
right,
over
yes,
trials and errors.
yep.
Like I was reading through those again to prepare for this, and I was like, especially on What It Takes, it says like, oh, this took years and years of compiling and this and that, and it kind of shows in the track listing. But like it all flows so perfectly well so like does that the writing process for an album versus just those songs, was it like, did you approach the songwriting differently?
Yeah, I think when you write an album, it's almost like a daunting amount of like work to do it. So you have to build it differently than like EPs are just like
There you
something
go.
out, right? Whereas an album, it's like I think like, okay, I want a really strong opener, I want an epic closer, and like you need like some songs that be considered like singles, right? And then
Yeah.
the kind of like the nice meaty part of the album. So yeah, I think there's a lot more that goes into it than EPs. I feel like EPs and like splits and 7 inches and comps and stuff are like an interesting,
The rare tracks.
yeah, where you can just like do whatever and you don't have to like think too much on it. So, and I'm very, very proud of everything we did. And there are definitely songs I could choose from those albums, but like organically, those ones just like came together at the right time, you
Yeah.
know? So,
Cool. And then where did the name come from?
uh,
Because when you say, who are you seeing tonight? Empire, Empire,
yeah,
parentheses, I was a lonely estate.
it's a ridiculous name. And one thing that I was excited when we broke up is I didn't have to explain that anymore. But okay, so I have before Empire, I was in a bunch of bands, and post Empire, I've been in a bunch of bands too. Um, None of those bands you've heard of, none of those bands had any success, and I just kept trying, and it's very difficult. I feel very fortunate that we had anything that sticks, but like we just kept trying stuff. So Empire, with an exclamation point, Empire is like it's like whatever your dream is, your most desirable, like whatever you're working towards, right? So that was being in a band for me. That was, you know, getting something out tangible. And then I was Lonely Estate, which is in parentheses, is because I felt like it didn't matter what I did because it wouldn't matter. It's like almost an afterthought. But it's I suppose it's the courage to keep going and chase that dream, even though the odds are always going to be against you and it's unlikely to be successful, but to not let that stop you.
Yeah.
So that's what that's from.
All right, awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for talking today.
Cool.
Can't see you out there.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
just